Welcome to episode 51 of Paul's Parkinsons experience. Yeah, welcome. Who knew that we could make it this far? It's Tuesday, June the 28th at 4:40 p.m. and I still have this tremor, which it seems like I have it all the time, but well, maybe I do. It's because I'm not following the rules. The rules are quite strict. The rules about what and when I can eat and when I have to take the medication. For example, looking at the medication schedule, I have something like 12 different pills and I need to organize them into a dosset box. For those of the American persuasion, a dosset box is a kind of pill packaging system. Yeah, well, anyway, that's its own set of problems. I don't know if you can hear that my voice is not as it normally should be. That's because I've been diagnosed with what's called dysarthria. Dysarthria. I'll try to put a link in to what that means. Basically, it means that the disease is now attacking my speech capabilities, starting with my tendency to lisp at times. Now, some of you know that I have had my deep brain stimulation operation. There's a line. The surgeons at St. George did a fantastic job, so I'm very pleased with the work that they did. This collects there are basically two electrodes in the brain, and the wires that connect them go down behind the ear. There's a cable just there. That cable then goes down to a controller, which is just implanted in my chest, and that contains a battery pack, which I do need to keep charged. So, but this isn't really about the deep brain stimulation. I'll make that the subject of a separate discussion after I've seen how progress proceeds. What I thought I'd talk about is Jekyll and Hyde. Yes, that mystery of the famous scientist and the monster that he became. Mr. Hyde was the monster. Dr. Jekyll was the scientist. In my scenario or analogy, the Dr. Jekyll is the one who has no tremor and therefore is able to express himself clearly and is able to make good decisions. And also, hopefully, make some decisions about editing the material in this video, as well as, all sorts of general things that need to be done, like holding down a job, like doing washing, cleaning, doing shopping, all the things that a normal person has to do if they're not a millionaire. They have to do it for themselves. So I have to follow this very strict regimen, which means that I take the first medication at 8 a.m. I then have to wait half an hour before I'm allowed to eat breakfast. I can't use more than 29 or 30 minutes for breakfast because that has to allow time for a 3-hour interval from 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and before that from 9 until 10. Yeah, 3 hours, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, and 11 to 12. Those 3 hours I'm not allowed to eat anything, but I can drink, I guess, but not anything too sweet or with sugar. So those 3 hours are meant to allow the intestinal tract to clear out what is in there, so that the dispersion mode of the medication, which is Madapar, is able to have its appropriate uptake into the system. Then after that period of taking the medication, I then have another half hour from 12:30 until 1 where I'm allowed to eat lunch. Then after that, I have another 3 hours, also from 12, 1 and 2, no, that's not right, from from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, and 3 to 4 p.m. It's when I can have no food and take the medication at 4 p.m. Then after 4 p.m. I have another period of from 4:30 until 5 when I'm allowed to eat and cook dinner and of course do all the other things that need to be done. And then finally I have another 3 hours before 8 p.m. which is when I should think about going to bed, because if I don't, it's quite a difficult night. Yeah. Learned that lesson the hard way. So let's talk about the subject of this, which is eating and drinking. So this is a can of some sort of lemon-based sparkling drink. It's very nice. San Pellegrino. This isn't an ad. I don't get paid for them. But it does show that I can't have a normal glass. Because if I do, if someone pours it to me in a glass, it just goes spraying all over the place. I've got to keep an eye on the time because I've only got this limited period. I have 15 minutes in which I can finish my lunch. This, of course, is water. It's very important to keep hydrated when you've got Parkinsons. And so, what I did before, before 4:30, which is when I knew I could start eating, I had to set the oven up so that it could heat a small quiche, which is it. Unfortunately, the quiche is sort of stuck to a silver tray, which means that it's not going to be easy to eat it. I do, however, have a spoon, and in the reflection of the spoon, you can see all sorts of things. Yeah, so here, for example, I hold that as still as possible. There's the tray, a special non-slip tray, which I use for placing things upon. Now, for those of a sensitive persuasion, you may want to look away because I'm going to actually eat with my hands. Don't worry, I've washed them. Yeah, sometimes I wish this hand wasn't part of this whole deal because, well, I spend most of the time sitting on that hand. So it feels like a sort of one-armed person. So let's get to eating. So eating isn't very pretty. I try to get the food out without spilling it. And that means it's quite challenging because, yeah. But fortunately this pie is fairly solid. It doesn't fly apart like a salad or peas or other food. Oh, and did I mention that I have this fantastic weight loss system? It's called Parkinsons. No matter how much I eat, I always stay under my goal weight, which is currently about 74.2 kilograms, which was a considerable loss when I didn't know what was causing it. So, I've got still some more of this pie to eat. Now, Rafe, I've got 10 minutes to eat the rest of this pie. So, let me pause the video at this stage, and then I can think about what I want to talk about next. But, yeah, basically I've got this pie, I have a small chocolate thing, and I've got the limonata. And that is my dinner. Yeah. Okay, so let's pause things and we'll talk about something later.